From the Pep Radio Newsroom, these are the stories we are covering at this hour. Representative Greg Steube has vowed to protect and save women from the radical left with the reintroduction of his anti-trans sports bill, which will be fast-tracked for a vote by the new Congress. The Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act was included in the House Republican majority's new rules package as a priority to be voted on in the first 100 days. The rules package passed the House last Friday. The package also says it will be voted on as read. That is, there can be no amendments that could slow down the voting process. No bill number is given in the package, but the description of the bill mimics the bill's text. The bill to amend the Education Amendments of 1972 to provide that for purposes of determining compliance with Title IX of such act in athletics, sex shall be recognized based solely on a person's reproductive biology and genetics at birth. The radical left is not in step with the American people on the issue of protecting women's sports, Stoiber said in a statement, which he repeatedly misgendered trans women. Americans have loudly spoken that they do not want men stealing sports records from women, entering their daughters' locker rooms, replacing female athletes on teams, and taking their daughters' scholarship opportunities. My legislation stands for truth, safety, and reality. Men have no place in women's sports. Republicans have promised to protect women's sports, and under President Trump's leadership, we will fulfill this promise. The House passed Stoiber's version of the bill in April 2023 along party lines. It was never brought to a vote in what then was the Democratic-led Senate, but the Senate and the White House are now controlled by the GOP, so the bill has a better chance of passing. Now, this news from Harrisburg. Joanna McClinton was reelected Speaker of the House on Tuesday after an initial tie among her colleagues in the Pennsylvania State House. McClinton and State Representative Jesse Topper were both nominated, which led to a 101 to 101 tie vote. Topper then withdrew his nomination, leaving McClinton to retake the Speaker's gavel. Democrats hold a one-seat, 102 to 101, majority in the House. However, Democratic State Representative Matt Gergely of Western Pennsylvania had a medical emergency over the holidays and was not in Harrisburg for the vote. Because the Constitution requires Gergely to be in Harrisburg when he takes his oath of office, the House currently sits at 101 to 101. Members of the Pennsylvania Senate are also set to be sworn in today, January 7th, 2025. And finally, this news from Philadelphia. The William Way LGBTQ Community Center abruptly closed in October after mold was found during an environmental assessment associated with the center's much-anticipated renovation project. Now they're getting ready to welcome people back into the building, but the project is on hold. Over 100 community groups, including LGBTQ plus sports, arts and culture, and recovery groups who otherwise cannot afford their own space, use William Way's facilities. Some of the recovery meetings that typically take place at William Way have regained use of the lobby. And at the close of 2024, the center was taking steps toward offering local LGBTQ plus choir, Philadelphia Voices of Pride, access to the ballroom for rehearsals. Over the next month, more community groups that have historically utilized the center will be allowed to use it again. You might say we're doing a soft reopening, said Dave Hudding, co-chair of the center's board. Hudding told PGN that William Way's leaders decided to close the building only as a precautionary measure, not because it was mandated by an official or required based on findings of the assessment. Hudding said leaders have now learned that the mold is isolated behind walls on only the top few floors and isn't at a level that's significant enough to cause harm to anybody, which allows the center to reopen. Repairs like this aren't uncommon for a building as old as William Way's, which is actually two former houses built in the 1840s that were joined in modern times to make a larger space. The front one-third of the center's building is considered historically significant, and certain features need preservation as construction takes place. For more information about the stories we cover, turn to the PEP Radio page on the Pennsylvania Equality Project website, paequality.com. Be sure to download the Live 365 app to take PEP Radio with you wherever you go. That's the news at this hour. Now back to more music here on PEP Radio.